Hi, this is Greg Shields, and I want to spend a minute or two on the whiteboard helping you sketch out a potential self-service password solution. If you've read the article that's associated with this video, you probably already know the plight of Don the Forgetful User. And in that article I talk about Don the Forgetful User who comes into work one day and tries to log onto his computer and realizes that, well, he's forgotten his password. Now, this can be a bad thing for Don because without that password, Don can't get into the computer. But it can also be a bad thing for the help desk because the only way for Don to get a new password is for Don to call the help desk and the help desk to actually change that password here on the domain controller itself. This isn't great because, well, there's a cost associated with calling into the help desk. There's also a time cost associated because, well, you have to go and stop what you're doing and help Don with his password and read it very slowly to him back over the phone. What might be a better solution is instead to create a solution where Don can help himself when he forgets his password. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can go about doing this, and there are a couple of different solution approaches that are available. One of the first ones I talk about in that article involves the use of a kiosk computer. Now, using a kiosk computer, this is a computer that just stays logged in all the time. And because it's logged in with some sort of generic username and password, Don doesn't have to log on to the kiosk computer and can go to a web page and punch in credentials and answer some questions, and then whenever he's done, have his password changed. Although the problem with kiosk computers is, as you can imagine, you have to have a computer that's logged in all the time in order to be able to use them. And you have to have a separate computer that just sits around waiting for users to forget their passwords. So kiosk computers, while may solve the immediate problem, aren't necessarily great for a long-term self-service password solution. Let's go ahead and put that away. There's another solution set out there as well. That may be to have Don just simply log on to his friend's computer, say Mike's computer. And from Mike's computer, go to a website and answer those same questions. But as you can imagine, the same rules that don't like logged-on computers probably don't like Don logging on to Mike's computer. There's a problem there too. If Don isn't anywhere near Mike or any of the other users in your organization, getting a hold of Mike's computer or any computer is going to be hard to help him change his password. So using somebody else's computer really isn't a workable solution either. What you really want is some sort of agent that you can install onto Don's computer, like so, and that agent would actually go and manipulate the Control-Alt-Delete screen or some screen that Don can access to allow him to go back and change his password. With an agent that's updated Don's computer in this way, Don could potentially go right to his own computer and do some of those self-service things right there on his computer. Now, in order to be able to do this, obviously, you can't just go straight to the domain controller because remember, Don has forgotten that password. There needs to be some sort of secondary database of information that Don can use or that I can use to verify that he is who he is. That database of information can be a series of questions that Don has asked and answered before he ever went and lost his password. Maybe his mother's maiden name, or his first car, his favorite movie, or his dog's name. The combination of these questions and what their answers are helps me identify that Don is indeed Don, and then allow him to go and change the password. I need to have these secondary questions in place so that I can prove that Don is who he is. Now, as you can imagine, if I create this database of secondary questions, I automatically create an element or a database of, well, personal information that I definitely don't want to get out. I definitely need to keep secured. So when I'm looking for a self-service password solution, I want to look for one that includes some very strong controls so that this secondary information, this personally identifiable information, doesn't get out. Once I have that solution in place, the next time Don actually comes into work and forgets his password, well, all he needs to do is go right to his own computer, answer a few questions, and he's got a new password ready to go.